Hey guys, welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and today we're going to do a real quick unboxing of the Master Grade Regia Z. So the Master Grade Regia Z is a pretty big Master Grade kit, and it came out in 2000, so it's also pretty darn old. Now this kit will not be getting the typical kind of build log treatment that I usually give my models, because this is kind of a big kit, kind of an older kit, and I also just want to be able to kind of build this at my leisure. So basically what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to kind of chip away at it a little bit at a time, working on it whenever I have some spare time to build something, and aside from an occasional live stream, you probably won't be seeing much of this guy until he's built. But once the build is all done, I will be doing a full review of this guy, and you'll get to see just how good or bad he really is. So because this is an older Master Grade, the first thing you actually see when you open the box is like this big kind of cardboard insert that they put over the parts. And this just has a bunch of pictures of the kit, kind of bigger, higher resolution versions of the images that were on the box that you can use as a little bit of a guide if you want to go ahead and paint this kit yourself. So inside the box and underneath that cardboard we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, holy crap, 11 bags of parts. And then of course there's a manual underneath all of that. So there are a lot of runners in this kit, so I'm mostly going to just glaze over most of these unless there's something really interesting to look at. So, multicolored A runner, kind of light greenish, mint green runner, and then there's a bunch more runners in that same color. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys all of those, one by one. These wings actually have some nice detail on them, so those are going to be fun to panel line. This runner has some very pointy little pieces on it, and also has the 2 pilots, and the standing pilot doesn't have a stand, so he probably won't be able to actually stand. Now we're moving on to the dark blue. So we have this runner. And then we have these two, which are identical little dark blue runners. I'm probably going to end up painting this kit at some point because I'm not a super big fan of the way these colors look right out of the box. And then we have this runner, which looks like it's designed so that it could be broken in half, but it is included in here all fully intact. And there's a lot of big pieces on this, as you can see. We got some big shells there. And then we have some very big kind of, I guess these are for like that kind of leading edge of the wing that has like a different color on it. Those are going to be pretty neat. Really, all the pieces on this runner are pretty freaking massive. And then we have one single runner of red plastic for the red parts on this kit. We have this, which is a really dark blue, and it looks like some kind of flight stand, I'm thinking. We got some gray, basically just frame, and there's a lot more gray where that came from because, of course, this is a Master Grade, so we got a couple K runners. And all the indicator letters on these runners are not stamped through like they are in newer kits, which makes it a pain in the ass to find what you're looking for. And then there's one last frame runner. And then from here on out, it's just a bunch of little kind of odds and ends. Like you get a second pair of antenna that are on like a rubbery kind of material, so that if you don't want to break these, you can use these ones. But also this kind of plastic doesn't really paint that well, so if you want to paint your kit, you're probably going to want to use the stiffer ones. We got a little baggie of screws, because there are a few screws used in this kit. A lot of screws, actually, it looks like. I'm going to throw those up here. We have a really cool looking beam saber runner. I have to say, I like these a lot. I like that kind of splayed out bottom edge they have on them. That looks very cool. And then a polycap sheet that is way too freaking big for a Master Grade. And then right at the very bottom, there are just a few marking stickers. We have the foil seals, which look perfectly fine, just eyes and head cameras. Behind that, we have some dry transfers that look pretty cool. And then behind that, we have some peel-and-place decals, which are looking even more crappy than usual, as you can tell by the rather large borders they have. If you want to use these, I do recommend maybe trimming them down with a pair of scissors or something, just so you don't have these big, ugly plastic borders all over your kit. Me personally, I'm probably not going to end up using these. And then down at the bottom of the box, we have the manual, and even if the kit itself turns out to be a total dud, the manual will still be a win in my book because it's pretty darn cool. And it might not look that cool right now. You look at the front, it's kind of bland, it's not that interesting looking. You look at the back, we got a big picture of the back of the kit, all airbrushed up and looking awesome. And then you start going through it, and that's where it starts to look really cool. Because right off the bat, we have this really cool hand-drawn line art for the Regia Z from the front and the back. Of course, there is a metric crap ton of story information. Unfortunately, because this is a 2000 Master Grade, you're not going to be seeing any English translations for that. But when we get into the main manual, that's where the really cool stuff begins, because we have these absolutely gorgeous hand-drawn illustrations of these cutaways of different parts of the suits. And I'm just going to zoom in as close as I can on this, just so you can appreciate just the insane level of detail that's in these illustrations. I mean, look at that. I wish we'd get that kind of thing with our newer Master Grade model manuals. Look at that leg. That is a cool leg. There's even more illustrations on the next page. We got one of the Regis Z kind of half transformed, showing off how that transformation mechanism works in universe. We have some line art of the flight mode, and then finally down here, we got the weapons. And then if we turn the page, there's a big full color spread in the middle. It talks about what I'm guessing are probably just some different scenes from Char's Counterattack that include the Regis Z. We got it speeding through the space. We got him fighting Sazabi, fighting Alpha Aziru. And then some more pictures of it that we've probably already seen in the manual. Some more little pictures. We got the little pilot guy inside of his cockpit, as you would expect with the Master Grade. More pictures we've already seen. And then up here we have a painting guide that's not all that useful because it's totally in Japanese. And then the rest of the manual is just the basic building instructions, so there's really not anything to see here. So there's all the parts in the Regis Z's box. As you can see, the manual for this kit is under there. It is just absolutely buried, though, under all this plastic. And yeah, this is going to be an old kit. It might not be super great by modern standards, but I have fairly high expectations for it, and I think it's going to be pretty darn fun to build. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to be doing this in the standard build log form. You probably won't see much of the build for this at all, actually. I'm just going to be kind of chipping away at it when I feel like it. Although you might from time to time maybe see this in live streams, who knows. But speaking of live streams, I will also be live streaming the build of the Papagguy tomorrow. That is Saturday at probably around 6 or 6:30. I'm going to go for an hour, hour and a half. Probably not going to go for 2 hours, but we're going to have to see how that goes. And of course, if you don't want to miss that stream, you should hit the notification bell so you'll know when I start. And of course, in order to hit that notification bell, you'll need to be subscribed. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more Gunpla news, reviews, build logs, unboxings, and all sorts of awesome stuff like that. As always, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time.